guys, and welcome to another review by me, Dan the Batman. Today we're going to be looking at some action figures. Yay! Some of you are probably thinking you have a lot of enthusiasm in your voice, and correct, I do. Today we're going to be looking at some Marvel figurines based on the characters from Marvel, of course, in the Spider-Man universe, and the Spider-Man animated series, the old 1994 cartoon, which I'm a big fan of. I've been a fan of that for quite a few number of years. I used to watch that a lot as a kid, really liked it, and it's a pretty good show. I think it's sort of got the same popularity which the newer series has got. I think it's called like The Spectacular or The Amazing Spider-Man or something, what it's called. Can't remember. But anyway, you're not here for that, you're here for the review, so let's crack on. So the first figure we're going to be having a look at is the Green Goblin. Now let's move the Rhino out of the way, who's just pushed the Green Goblin down. Now, where do we begin with this figure? Well, obviously this is based on what the Green Goblin looks like in the Spider-Man animated series. He looks, well, like a goblin in a cape and stuff, and obviously I think, if I can remember rightly, I haven't seen the programme in many, many years, this is Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. I know in one episode they explore Norman Osborn's origins as the Green Goblin. I can't remember though if I'm correct or not, but please do let me know in the comment section below if I'm right. So, where do we begin? Well, let's have a little look at the face. The face is pretty good. It's pretty accurate to the actual mask he has in the show. He's got red, is that red? Green eyes, and it's like a creamish face he's got, and he's obviously got this big orange cape, which is very cool. It's got like, sort of looks like a, well, it's a cloak. It looks a bit like something you'd see out of Harry Potter, like, you know, the way the hood is. Weird, bizarre reference there, but here we go. He's got a belt piece going across his chest. You see the buckle there, and he's got his it's like a utility belt or something like that, obviously where he'd keep his bombs and stuff. Well, actually no, there's a bag there. I can imagine he keeps them in there. Yeah, so that's all been painted orange. Obviously, I think if I remember rightly, in the show I think there's more colour to this costume. I think 'cause it's only small. The detail's not that great, but it's still good though. You can see all the detail, like the bag and stuff. The bag itself is very small. I'm sorry, this is a very small figure. That's why I keep on moving it around. It's very hard to look at. As you can see there, he's got his small bag. His arms and his legs are sort of it looks very bluish on the camera. It's actually a very, very dark purple. So yeah, obviously they're quite muscular. So obviously he's a strong bloke. You don't want to mess with him. He's got orange gloves and he's got orange boots as well. In his hand he's got a pumpkin bomb, which obviously this goblin is famous for having the pumpkin bombs, because obviously if you've seen the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, which I hope you have, the Green Goblin uses a similar sort of thing. It's got a bomb and it's like got a circle in it. It's a shame he didn't use pumpkin bombs. That would have been quite cool, but never mind. The pumpkin bomb's quite cool. You can see the little pumpkin. It might be quite hard to pick up on camera because it's very small. Where do we look at next? Obviously, I've said about the cape. The cape's very cool. The legs, very nice. The feet, these like sort of weird boots he's got, they're quite unusual. Obviously, I don't know, they're just boots, just orange boots. And of course he's got all the copyright business here. It says 1995 Marvel China and the #1, which I'll come back to once I've reviewed the Rhino figure. So all in all, really, I know this is a bit of a boring review because there's not really much to this figure, to be honest. But overall, I think as a small figurine, I think it's pretty good. If you're a big fan of the Green Goblin, definitely recommend getting this figure, because he does look cool up on the shelf, as well as on its own, but also with The Rhino. Yeah, the Rhino. Now, the Rhino also features in the Batman the Animated... Not Batman. Wrong series. Wrong universe. This, of course, is seen in the Spiderman animated series. Got that right that time. And he features in... he's featured in comics, same with the Green Goblin. And he's featured in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, of course... There's a bleeper in the background, don't know why. Yeah, he of course features in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is a very good film, and if you have not seen that film, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's one of my favourite superhero films. Thumbs up if you agree, and let me know in the comments section below what your favourite Spider-Man movie is. Now, enough with that sort of talk, let's look at the figure. Now, the figure itself is very, very cool. As you can see, he's very strong. He's got very, very strong arm muscles and what have you. Would not want to mess with this guy. I've forgotten how muscular this guy is. He sort of looks like well, obviously he looks like a rhino, but he sort of, I don't know, he looks a bit weird all in one colour. That's one of the reasons why I kind of prefer the Amazing Spider-Man 2 version, because, I don't know, it sort of makes sense. I think he's supposed to be half rhino or something, which sounds a bit weird. Whilst I was happy in the film that it's actually a real bloke just in a like robot costume with like machine guns and stuff, which is pretty cool. Anyway, let's take a look at this figure. So the figure is all in like a matte grey. It's very, very plain figure. Obviously you can see all the muscles and stuff. He just looks like, I'm sorry, it just looks like Arnold in a rhino costume. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Good. I'm here as the rhino. Anyway, yeah, see, as you can see, his face has got a weird look to him. He looks very horrified, thinking, what am I doing here? As you can see, the paint is sort of faded over just by age, really. Cause you got to remember, he's like 20 years old. And I bought these at second hand, so they're not brand new. He's got a nice horn. I remember the horn to be a bit bigger. I don't know why, obviously, because these are small miniature scale figures. The detail's not that great. Obviously, you've got to see all his abs, his muscles. That's it, really. If we take a look at the back, obviously you've got all the copyright business there, and it's obviously it says the same spiel, except it's got number 2, but instead of number 1. The feet are paws. They're not like normal feet, what we have. I think he's got he's got 4 not 4 fingers, 4 feet, 4 toes rather, 4 feet, blimey, must be a big rhino. Yeah, he's got 4 toes on each side. So yeah, that's basically the rhino. It's still a nice figure, nevertheless. I don't know, it's one of those sort of things you just put on your shelf and it looks cool because it's Rhino. Rhino's cool, even though he's not one of my favourite Spider-Man villains. He's definitely not the worst. So, all in all, guys, I know this was a really, really small review, but to be honest, there's not much for these 2 figures. If you can still get them, I've tried to look on eBay and Google and what have you to try and look up where these figures are actually from. If you do have these figures, or you do know where they're from, please do let me know in the comments section below. And if I do know, that way I can like annotate it, so then you guys know if you want to try and track them down. But all in all, I'm going to give these figures, I'll give them individual ratings. I think I'll give the Green Goblin figure, or the Green Goblin 2, whatever you want to call him. I think I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I do think the detail's pretty good. Again, it would have been nice to have a bit more detail, like with the belt and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a decent rating for this figure. And definitely recommend checking out this one. The Rhino, I don't know. It's not the worst figure I've reviewed, believe me. It's not bad. It's not brilliant. It's in between. I think I'll give him a 6 because the detail's still pretty good for him, and obviously this is the costume he wears in the show, I think. I can't remember, again. I keep on saying I think, because I haven't really watched this, but it's one of those sort of programmes where you remember watching it as a kid, and obviously as you grow up, you completely forget a lot of the villains in Spider-Man or the cartoon series, and you come back about 20 plus years later and you think to yourself, now, did he look like that? I can't remember. I'll have to go on Google or something, see what they all look like again, because I haven't really looked up the show itself in a long time. Anyway, let me continue. I'd say I'm going to give this figure, yeah, 6 out of 10. I think that's definitely worth that rating. If you can track them down, definitely recommend doing so. And if they have got more than just these two, because obviously they had 1, 2, or 1 on this one and 2 on that one, obviously there must be a series out there. So if you know if they've done any more like this, please do let me know in the comment section below, and I might try and track some down and do a review of them if this review does well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm sorry if it's not been not very informative like some of my normal reviews I've done. Not normal, you know, some of my other reviews I've done. But again, please do let me know what you think of these figures. Do you like them? Do you not like them? And if you have them at home, is there more in the series? But again, do let me know. So thank you for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed me reviewing these figures. Feel free to comment, like and subscribe to my channel. And there's plenty more to come. So take care, guys, and hope to see you soon for another review.